Dear sisters, something is eating me up and I want to express it here. I work as a dental nurse, and one day a lady brought her son, who's about 18 months, to my workplace. That's a dental clinic. And according to her, he fell the morning prior, hitting his mouth on the floor. We, and I mean the doctor and myself, checked and gave them some medication and assured the mother that the child would be fine. When we discharged the lady, she says she's waiting for her husband to come and pick them home, even though she wasn't wearing any ring on her finger. Sisters, to my surprise, the so-called husband came, and it was a medical doctor who I knew and have worked with before at my former workplace. The interesting thing is the man is married, and I know his wife. I know her very well. The lady who came to the hospital with their son is not the wife I know. I inquired from him if really he has 2 wives, and the answer he gave me shocked me. And I quote, "You know my wife is busy at the bank. She goes to work early but doesn't come home early. The kids too are grown and are leaving the house one after the other to school. So the house is becoming very empty and lonely for me. So I need 1 or 2 kids to entertain me. You know kids are fun to be with." Sisters, he already has 3 kids with his wife, and the first 2 are twins, now in JSS2, about to enter into the university. The terrier, or third born, just completed JHS. This man is making babies with a whole other woman in anticipation for the children leaving the house. This is a woman who took an interest-free loan to get him, the doctor, to start his own clinic, and I know about this, and yet see what this man is doing. It's obvious the wife doesn't know that he has a whole other family, because his mood changed when he saw me. Now I'm really sad for the wife, a woman I know and respect very well. Why would this man do this to his wedded wife? And am I wrong to want to give her a hint about what her husband is truly up to? Ding, ding, ding. Concerned bystander. Is it right for her to step into a marriage that she respects the wife, knows the husband, to let her get a clue about her husband having empty nest syndrome enough to want to create a whole new other family? Ladies, I'll give you again the option. Who wants to start? Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. Citro. Hello.
Well, I guess it fell on me this time.
Rosie, this time it escaped you.
I know, right? It always lands on me.
I can't have a saying that hinti diane die ebe banemum die nam ne so. I think she should mind her own business.
You think?
Yes. Here's why I'm saying that. For a person to have gone out of their way to do something like that for the man they've been married to for so long and has 3 kids with, anything like this is such a touchy topic. You are going to hurt her. What if maybe she has BP or she has some other disease that is going to trigger other things? We don't want that. The man has already caused the harm. I don't think the onus is lying on her to go and say anything at this point in their marriage. She should find out on her own or leave it as is. If she finds out 5 years later, that will be 5 years of her enjoying her marriage in peace. If she finds out the next day, that will be 1 day of her enjoying her marriage in peace. I think she should mind her business and pray for them.
Okay. Before I come to Olivia, let me come to Rosie, because Olivia she usually has this look where she completely disagrees. And I love to hear Rosie's thoughts before I come in. But Rosie,
If I were the wife, I would want to know.
You think so?
However, the man is your boss at some point in time. I don't think you have a real relationship with the boss's wife.
Yeah, beyond the respect
beyond the respect you have as a result of the fact that, okay, that is my boss's wife. You probably don't have a rapport with her. It's just by chance that you saw this. Now, if he was with a woman without an issue, maybe I would say probably get the man to either stop what he's doing or get the man to get into his conscience to be able to talk to his wife about it. But as is, the child is about 8 years old. That means that he and that woman have been at it at least about 9 years old.
No, 18 months.
18 months.
Yes. So
Oh, okay, the baby is young. Okay, cool.
But they have 2 children
there's a
together.
baby, yeah.
So they have to. So maybe this could be the first child. This could be the second. But at least 2
They
years.
they have some children together. So it gets a bit complicated.
Exactly.
And I keep saying that a lot of women know their husbands than people think they do.
Yeah.
It's just that some women are vocal about it, some choose to ignore it for the greater good. So the fact that they've been together for so many years, they've built a life for so long. Now, for a woman to build a life for so long, it takes a lot to want to leave the relationship, because obviously she's probably invested a lot. They probably had a good run in the relationship. And they've had a good run when she didn't know this was happening. Or probably she knew it, but she was just quiet on it, silent on it. She probably suspected it, but she had no evidence. Now, opening this is just going to put you in the midst of chaos unnecessarily. And if you're not careful, you're going to be the third party. But that said, you see, marriages should be transparent, should be truthful, respectful. Even if you wanted to do something like this, I know marriages that the couple have agreed, the woman is aware. In fact, I actually know a couple where the woman said, I'd rather you have a relationship with somebody else rather than sleep around with so many women, because I don't want to get infected with all kinds of diseases. But she would want to vet the woman and know the kind of woman you're with to make sure that that woman is a right fit for you. And I was surprised. But then again, that's what works for them.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think that whatever your marriage is, I don't condone lies in marriage. I don't see why you're married to a woman, you have children, and you find the need to step out and be with another woman just because you want children in the house. Look, there are lots of children who are looking for homes to be in.
Exactly.
You can adopt kids whilst you're little. I mean, you don't have to go around looking for people. I mean, I don't get it. I don't even know how to deal with this. For me, I think that it's just selfishness on the part of some men. It's an excuse to just play out of marriage. And because they know they have money, they have the finances, they can afford to live two separately individual lives, making a mess of everybody. And that's what happens when the man dies. At the funeral, then you realize that you have siblings, you have all kinds of family members you had no idea of. And sometimes the very children you think that you are having, you think can take care of them, you messed up their lives forever. With all these arguments about property, who looks after who looks after what, who is legitimate, who is the borrowed, who is the side chick, who is the intruder, you know, and you end up messing up the children's lives. So I think that people should just, I don't want to address the question directly. I think people should just learn how to be truthful in their marriages. If you're not old enough to get married, don't even start it. And when you start, it's a choice you make. Be committed to that choice. Whatever decision you want to make in that marriage, make sure it's discussed with your spouse. Make sure your spouse is in agreement. She knows. I mean, it's very, I don't know how, assuming the lady goes ahead and tells the wife, I don't know how the wife is going to feel. So you're going to ask yourself, so for the past 15 years, we've been together, 16, 17, 20 years. Have I been living with a stranger? Do I really know my husband? All these questions keep running through your mind. So I think it's quite unfortunate. But my mainness,
mind your business.
Mind your business, because it's difficult to say. Because if I were the wife, I would want to know. But in this case,
you don't also want to come from a complete stranger.
Exactly. It's different if it comes from somebody who is close to you, and the person knows you. One knows how to break the news to you, and knows how to let you handle it without necessarily making the man look like I'm telling you this because I want you to leave because you don't deserve this. No, not that kind of communication. But kind of communication that makes it look like, look, listen, I'm a very good friend. I know this, and I think it will be heartbreaking for you to know 5 years down the line that I knew this a year ago and never told you. You see, then that's coming from a point of friendship. But from a complete stranger, my dear, you don't know what the circumstances in their home is. So I'd rather you mind your business.
Another thing is, you know, cheating has a way of making people feel less of themselves than they actually do.
Yeah.
When somebody cheats on you as a woman, you don't now just think of just the cheating. You begin to think of all kinds of things that may not necessarily even be true to why the person cheated.
Am I not good enough?
Exactly. So that's why I strongly feel she should just mind her business. Again.
Now let's bring Olivia into this conversation. You've been quietly observing, clearly mulling over what to say, but what are your thoughts? Is the nurse in the right thinking of dropping hints to the wife?
I agree. I think so.
Really?
I think that her motives are right, but the consequences are not. She's coming from a good place, whereby she's trying to be empathetic. She's thinking, oh, if it were me, I would want to know. And she feels like she owes it to the woman because she feels she respects her, and also because she feels like this woman has invested so much in this man, and this man is paying her in a wrong. So she's feeling like she needs to be superwoman right here. She needs to be a hero to save the woman, to save the situation. But I think in another breath that she's just going to compound the situation. I don't think that she's coming from a good place. That's good, but like Rosie and Citra said, you don't want to be the third party in all of this. If I were you, depending on my relationship with this man, I'd rather speak to him because he needs the work. For future's sake, and for the sake of his own kids, and for the sake of the other kids, at some point in time, he needs to break the news to his wife, just because of transparency and just because, you know, this is what he did. And in order for him to be truthful to his wife, the man is the one who needs to be worked on. You need to get his conscience back on track if you need to, like, speak to him, depending on your relationship. You said he was your boss. So it's either you approach in a very tactful manner, whereby you make him realize and appreciate that, you, my guy, like, my boss, like, what you did, like, what you're doing is just not nice. Think about all the things this woman has done for you. How would you feel if you woke up one morning and she had done that to you? So find a way to get the guy to solve the problem. And at least in your mind, in your conscience, that will help you know that, oh, at least you've done something about it. I don't want to be in the woman's shoes at this point in time because it's so much to take in. The hurt, the pain, is the betrayal. It's one thing being in a marriage and trying to make it work, and there's another thing actually having your spouse bear forth seeds of their infidelity, because then these children, they don't go away. They're there for life. They end up being half siblings and
entitled to property.
Entitled to property. They're there perpetually. Blood is blood. You can't disown them. So it's sad. It's not easy. And it lies on the man to take up responsibility and ensure that he does right by the woman. And to send out a word to men out there, because this is something that actually happens a lot. Yeah. If you're in a marriage and you feel like you're bored and you need something to do to keep your time, I worry about his communication with his wife, because it's almost like because if his wife at some point in time supported him, how does he look at his wife? What's the relationship like? Is he talking with her? Has he had conversations with her about, babe, you know, the kids are growing. Do we want to have a pension baby to keep us going?
Maybe adopt,
you know, but he's not having that conversation. He's solving his own personal, selfish needs and problems out of the marriage. And that's where the problems always start.
Perhaps he wanted a big family and maybe the wife was not
and
willing to
do it. But hold on, let me finish. But what did you say? Sorry, I lost.
Perhaps he wanted a big family, but
exactly.
the wife wasn't willing to give him one. So
exactly
now that he has the time, maybe the financial resources to be able to have more, he figured, why not?
Exactly my point. So this is wherein lies what I was saying. If you were communicating with your wife and she did say, I don't want a big family, then you go like, so babe, what are our options? It's different if she decided no, and I guess we will never know what came out of that conversation. But the last thing in every marriage, it says for better for worse, is to resort in solving your problems out of the marriage, bringing kids into the marriage to complicate issues. So I think that moving on, speak to the guy.
And men out there should not be doing that. You can play tennis, you can play golf. Like, I find it some kind of job. Like, not another job. Like, find something else that, you know, tickles your interest besides making babies out of marriage.
Not to hold a brief for the man, but I heard at some point when you were reading that the woman goes to work very early and comes back late. So I doubt if there is any form of proper communication between the couple as well. But it doesn't make anything that he's done right. Yes. Even without the children, going out to cheat alone, even without children, is wrong on its own. Let's not make it a point of or a fact about the children per se, but the fact that you go out of your marriage to have an affair with anybody else outside of that marriage is still wrong.
Another thing I wanted to add was that, you see, the going out early and coming back late, it was for a reason, and those were the things that helped her to support you to become who you are. So sometimes the sacrifices, and that's all marriage is about, because you can't be in a marriage and want to have it all at your own time and how you want it. You understand? So this lady sacrificed her time and her energy to make sure that she progressed up the corporate ladder to be able to provide, probably take corporate loans here and there to support you to become, for you to become who you are. Now you are biting her in the face. Now let's talk about large families. There are people who've wanted to have like 5, 6, 7, 8 children. But you see, when you love somebody and you see what the person's body goes through, because people handle childbirth differently. There are some who have one baby, and after seeing what they've gone through, the love that you have for them, you are the one going to say, look, babes, I said I wanted 5 children, but if this is what you're going to go through, I think I'm okay with 1. Worst case scenario, add 1 to it, that's fine. And the thing is, childbirth is not automatic. Having a healthy child is not automatic. Ensuring that mother and baby are alive after childbirth is not automatic. So when your woman has children, especially of a certain age, I'm thinking that once the children are going to college and stuff like that, I'm thinking that the woman is not young, the wife is not young. So my question is, selfish for you to think that you want to step out and have children because, one, your wife is probably not at an age to comfortably have children. Then where is the love? Where's the sacrifice? Where's the commitment? Where's the compromise in the marriage? So for me, there's no excuse whatsoever why a partner or a spouse should cheat on another spouse. I think it's an excuse. You see, even if you want to say that this is what the person is doing, so I'm going, it's just an excuse to validate what you wanted to do. Because I know men and women who are going through horrible times and they are still faithful to their partners, because cheating is your decision. Nobody can push you to go and cheat. It is your decision to want to cheat. So don't blame it on her going and coming late, because listen, there is no time to the there is no timing. So if she comes home at 10 p.m., you can still do something. So I don't understand this whole cheating thing. So I think that, look, we've all said what we've said, but I think that the man just felt like, okay, I have arrived, I am a man, I have money, I can do it, and I will do it. I want extracurricular children, I want to be part of, because sometimes men think that when they name them amongst those kinds of men, it means that they have achieved. Arrived. They have arrived. Like, oh, Charlie, or Yiri, she has children, but he gets some side chick. He has even built a house for the side chick and things like that. Then, you know, they feel like they are accomplished. But it's stupidity. I don't know. It's stupidity.
I've been curious about something for a very long time, though. Society has become okay or have seemingly accepted this whole side chick syndrome. To the point
it's
where...
called side chickism.
It's a whole economy.
It's a whole study on its own.
To the point where I keep asking myself, are we closing our eyes on the main issue here?
That is?
That men probably cannot just be with one woman for say 30 years.
But traditionally, Ghanaian men have
that's
been
what I'm
polygamous.
that's the case I'm building. If a man goes out of his marriage to say, okay, I want to marry a second wife, there is something fundamentally wrong with it. Meanwhile, this is how our forefathers used to live before. And I think we've gotten to the point in time where somebody needs to talk about this. But nobody's talking about it, because every woman is okay being the wife, the main wife. They don't care if another woman somewhere time and life is being wasted. So long as you are not the legitimate wife, everybody else is okay.
No, but Sicho, I beg to differ here. Sicho, listen.
Let me land. If you don't mind,
traditionally,
I beg you, let me land. Yes. Finish. But if you are okay being the wife and not care how many women out there your husband is chasing, then I think it's about time we start discussing why is your husband not marrying a second wife? Why? Okay. Is it that because society is glossing over that and not allowing the men to marry? Is that why they are doing what they are doing secretly and having children, illegitimate children outside of their marriages? Or it is because they just want to keep extra women outside of their marriages and they prefer marrying one woman? I think there's no discussion about this.
No, I think that traditionally,
naturally coming from polygamous homes, right? They're naturally coming from polygamous homes whereby, yes, their father married numerous women. My thing here is, okay, you're dating, you're courting. Okay, we're talking about each other. My father married 10 wives, or he didn't marry them, like different children all over the place. So tell me, like, I need to know, because you see, this thing sometimes is hereditary, and sometimes it's based on what you grew up knowing. And then sometimes too, it's just based on
your preference.
Your preference. But I have a problem with the fact that you come into a relationship with me, and right? Telling me, lead me on to believe
something I can do.
Exactly, that you're a Christian, you understand one man, one woman relationship, but you are still having extra. Like, tell me, like, yo, okay, there's a tendency that I will want to marry a second woman.
At some point
let me understand, or a third woman. Let me understand, so that, and there are women who genuinely understand that my husband likes women. But if you can, no, it's true. There's some women who are side chicks. They understand that, hey, they are sharing you, our husband. Yeah. So start off the relationship and let the woman know that, hey, me fear they are baby. So if I go and cheat and bring another woman, you have to understand.
But you see, I think.
But
no, hold on.
I don't mislead
no, hold on. Apart from that,
other children into believing that you, we go on the day of marriage, it's like, oh, for better, for worse, you know, one woman, one wife, we love each other, and go and do all of that.
Hold on. I wanted to also, hold on, please, I beg you.
Rosie, quickly.
Yeah, quickly. Now, there's a statement that Sicho made that African men or Ghanaian men are naturally polygamous, You see, society has a way of schooling people to make it look like this is who they are and this is what they have to be or what they have to do. You understand? Now, check this. This same society defined women as women who were supposed to be in the kitchen, who were supposed to just make babies, make sure they look beautiful, be clean, and then that's what qualified them as a woman. Now, why have these same women over time progressed, evolved from being that kind of a domesticated woman to now becoming workers, to the extent that we now have female presidents all over all over the world? Now, my question is that, see, society has defined the role of men, the privileges of men, to the extent that they believe that as a man you are supposed to cheat.
Which is sad.
And that is the excuse to cheat. Because listen, cheating is innate in everybody.
It's a personal decision.
Not just for men, not just for women, for both men and women. But society makes it okay for men to cheat, and they make it shameful for women to cheat.
Which is something that we haven't
it is what has been ingrained in your system. So you realize that over time, a man finds it is actually a plus to cheat.
Exactly.
Because when you sit with your boys, you are respected because one woman is not controlling you to commitment.
It's counted as a trophy.
It's a trophy. But for a woman, if I even decided to cheat, there is no way I can even tell my best friend that
exactly.
No, you can't, because you see, then you'll be trolled, it will be shameful, it is abominable, it is unpardonable. So the question is that if women have been able to evolve from this, why can't men evolve from being...
Okay,
there are 2 points.
So there are 2 things. The first one, Olivia mentioned that, listen, if you know you can't do it, don't deceive the woman from the start that, but you see, I can't be committed.
Sometimes I feel that these constraints or people choosing to be able to expand their family, it also comes from a point where when their financial matters also evolve, they feel the need that they once they can fund or be capable of taking care of multiple wives, they choose to do so.
And another thing too is
in certain parts
so communicate it and make sure it's okay with your partner.
Another thing too is you made a point earlier on in your submission where you said sometimes you don't know your partner that well. You keep knowing them every time, right? And I feel like sometimes even we as human beings, you don't know yourself that well. Me as I am now, 10 years,
you don't know how you evolve.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You evolve into a different, you understand? So I think we've not looked at the whole thing very well.
But you realize that
but you can't convince me that you're going to revolve and say that you deliberately cheat on your partner because you won't have
somebody needs to play the devil's advocate, and that's all that I'm doing here. I'm not
condoning
one thing or leaving.
If I can, you would realize that in Ghana, men of a certain age tend to be more susceptible to having second families.
The reason is because
and of a certain financial
hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. It is
it's
a
like
form
when
of
men get to a certain financial bracket,
they just crave for certain things.
It's called self-actualization.
Yes.
So you know what? They struggle. They are trying to make ends meet. They are trying to fend for their
they
families.
Don't see the need of
and the moment they get to a point where they feel like they have some extra cash that they can do one or two things with, then that is the moment where they feel like they need a real extracurricular, not the golf and the tennis you're talking about.
And another thing you mentioned that I want to highlight on is the fact that you said we are all willing to forgive them when they do that.
Of course.
Who are the people willing to forgive these men?
Thank
you. Why are we willing to forgive them when they do it to somebody else's random daughter whom they are not married to? But when the man says, I'm going to marry this person that I've cheated with, to add to you as a second wife, then there is trouble. Why?
No. The whole dynamics is wrong. You check this out.
How?
This, Rosie just said that when they grow up, and you did mention that it has to do with age and then the time and their financial standing, right? However we want to look at it, at some point in time here, just like men grow up, their strength dips, right? So they're
strength in what?
Strength in sex. Okay. It dips. Yeah. So they're having sex with one woman, and then the money is coming, this is coming, and we see it everywhere. So at some point in time, he's probably like 60. He's depending on where he's working. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe 55, 60, around that age. Has a big pot belly, like he's got money. Money ain't a problem. Get some small girl on the side who say, "Oh, daddy, give it to me." Oh, daddy, probably screaming and doing all sorts of things to make him feel like yes, he's Oga, pretending, because she knows exactly what she wants.
Exactly.
And she's fueling his ego. And then one thing leads to the other, and then we have kids in it. But my thing is that how are we bringing our men up today? How are we bringing up our sons?
Thank you. That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
How you bring your sons to break the stereotypes.
To break the stereotype. Because we cannot continue to
there
make
was a
excuses for infidelity. We cannot, the cycle cannot continue. It's crazy.
And you know what? When we realized that women were in the home and we were not working, there was a whole regime empower the female child, and now it's unheard of to see a woman going to school or trying not to do anything with herself. You understand? The same way men have to be taught from when you have sons, you have to train them. It's not just like, oh, the woman's place is in the kitchen, you go and fix toys, you go and do this, you go and climb mountains, you go and jump over hills, but the woman is just supposed to clean and do all of these things. At the end of the day, it is how society has trained us. Listen, some of the things that we do is in it. It's as a result of what we have been trained to do. And because it's in it, it takes a long time to break that cycle, even if you want to break the cycle. So my thing is that, look, listen, polygamy is not new in Ghana, it's not new in Africa. You understand? We all know that. But you see, it exists because men have been taught it's okay to be polygamous. There are other traditions outside of Ghana where it's the other way around, where women actually take multiple husbands, and I'm sure they believe that women have the rights because how they have been taught and enshrined from the beginning. But by all means, if you want to be polygamous, let your partner know from the onset that, listen,
I agree.
I agree
tend to be polygamous. I don't even want to have a civil wedding. I don't want to even sign from the onset. And I would probably be open to having multiple wives. There are women who will be okay with that.
But you
do not trap the woman into a one-one marriage.
But you do realize
and decide to cheat.
But you do realize that society has as well normalized men who decide at some point in their marriage that they want to add on. And it shouldn't be a situation where we are also attacking how society has normalize certain things, because right now it's a part of us. Society is me and you.
Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm coming to. But to sit on the fence and say that a man is okay to have side chicks, but it's not okay to have married to two different women.
We have to wrap it up in
who said it's okay to have side chicks?
Quick question.
But everybody seems to be okay with it.
I'm busy saying that we need to
it's the lesser of two evils. Nobody is okay with side chicks. Who said people are okay with side chicks?
No, society has normalized.
Yes,
society has normalized it. people are okay. See,
it's been even more rampant over the last maybe 20 years.
Exactly. But if I hear that somebody has a side chick, I may not feel it. But if it's you, the wife, who is facing a side chick, you will not be okay with it.
But
you can't
normalize it.
Saying
that we need to train our sons, right? But in another breath, how are we as mothers training up our daughters to also accept these guys who want us to be side chicks? Why are we allowing them to say yes to married men, to be able to then against society,
but
then against
various
like
financial status, envy,
commitment, there's a thin line
everything
between society and morals and ethics and good and wrong.
But
if he's married, you have no business.
It's very relative. Yes,
it's very relative.
It's relative.
Yeah, good and wrong is relative.
50 years ago,
we are still here talking about it's even relative in other cultures.
50 years ago,
I know.
50 years
so
ago,
let's not give excuses.
No, but 50 years ago, good was someone being a second wife. Good was someone being a third wife.
After communication.
The
understanding is that
marriage. You enter a marriage knowing that you can have other wives be added onto you.
Okay.
In Ashanti culture,
the key word here is knowing. The key word here is knowing.
But
you don't know, that's a problem.
Hold on. Modernity and evolution and us being a lot more Christianized moved us from acceptance of polygamous
marriages,
relationships to now focusing more on monogamy. And now it seems that society has almost done a 360 over the last maybe 20 years to be accepting again
and pretentiously act like these men are all chicks in their marriages. Most of them aren't. 90% of Ghanaian married men aren't. They all have side chicks.
Slow down.
It doesn't.
Citi, you're getting passionate.
But I think you want to be polygamous. You want to be
but I do agree that communication is key.
Yes.
If you decide at some point in your life,
if I was society alone, I'd rather have these men marry 2 and 3 rather than go about and pretend they are perfect in their marriages and have side chicks on the side.
I can agree with you there.
It doesn't help anyone.
If you're going to do it, you might as well legalize it.
Yes, you might as well legalize it.
Let everyone know.
And let everyone know.
I know that I'm not just sitting somewhere with children that are not mine.
Yes,
I know that I am a wife.
Thank you.
My parents know that I am with a man. The children in my house have his name.
And those children you've had, they also deserve a father. That 2 children you've had,
hold on.
They also deserve a father.
They have fathers.
But the fact that
their names are on them.
Hold on. But the fact that the marriage was a choice.
In 20 seconds.
It means that you need to let them know. But some of those children, they don't have their man's name, so don't say that they have their name. Not all of them. Some of them have the woman's name.
Most of them do, actually.
Most of them do, but that's the ones in secrecy. You understand?
Yeah, they put their name on it too. It's only when you, the wife, find out, that's when you realize that they were actually there in the first place. On the birth certificate,
trust me.
They can be, say, Sicho Sapon in real life, but on the birth certificate, their
name is somewhere there.
Rosie. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Anyways, that's my featured one.
Sicho, are you okay? Sicho is passionate. Sicho is on the high.
Hashtag become something else.
Hashtag side chicks life matter.